Hey, how's it going, guys? So welcome back to another reaction video of Sith history. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So judging by the thumbnail, just like off of first glance on this one, it's about like how the Sith had a huge advantage, and it's called the Sith Empire that never was. So basically they had like the perfect opportunity to wipe out the entire Republic and Jedi, but I guess something happened and it never came to be. So we're gonna see like where they screwed up and where the empire that could have been never happened. So without anything else, let's get into it.
In our last video on the history of the Sith, the reconstituted Sith Empire, led by Emperor Vitiate, had emerged from the shadows of the unknown regions and run roughshod through the Republic. The Great Galactic War, as it became known as, was long and bloody. After 30 years of bitter combat, the Sith Empire lured the Republic into a false sense of security and took advantage of the ongoing peace talks on Alderaan to invade Coruscant, bomb the city planet to rubble, and utterly destroy the Jedi Temple.
Yep.
With their capital firmly in Sith hands, the Republic was forced to sign the Treaty of Coruscant, thus ending the war with a Republic defeat. The two powers divided the galaxy up between themselves and settled into a new balance. But figures stirred under the mantle of peace, and in the years following the treaty, both the Republic and the Sith Empire would continue to fight, sometimes amongst themselves, and other times against far more formidable foes.
Oh, kind of cut off there for some reason.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Although the Treaty of Coruscant ended the 30-year Great Galactic War, the ensuing peace was only on paper. In the aftermath, the Republic turned on the Jedi Order, blaming them for their defeats in the war, even though the Jedi had thrown themselves into the fray to bide the Republic time to gather its bearings and respond to sudden incursions.
I remember that from the Galactic Timeline
Faced with
videos.
the Republic's criticism and the destruction of their temple on Coruscant, the Jedi Order gathered what numbers they had left and returned to the tranquil world of Tython, their ancestral homeworld. There, they rebuilt. Although they were still committed to protecting the Republic, the Order took a step back for some time. After winning the war, the Sith Empire was at its peak, with almost half the galaxy under its control, a newly reopened Sith Academy on Korriban, and many booming industries. However, the Sith Emperor didn't seem to be interested in his empire any longer and left to pursue his own goals. He was still the head of the empire, but the Dark Council he had founded ruled in his name, handling the daily concerns of the empire on every front, from agriculture to warfare. The two galactic powers had found a restless balance for the time being, but neither was willing to stay dormant. Over the next decade, open war gave way to a cold war between the Republic and the Sith Empire. During the Cold War, both sides schemed to undermine the other. Conflicts spread out across the galaxy, but neither side openly acknowledged it. Thus, they fought over worlds like Balmorra, Taris, Alderaan, and resources such as the poison mines on Quesh. But instead of openly going at each other, they relied on covert ops teams to jeopardize the other's plans and sway the local populace toward their goals. Thus, the Cold War
like
saw
a better
the
idea.
Republic managing to reclaim control over Balmorra and the Empire prevailing on Taris. Alderaan was a tricky matter, and the victor really depends on who you ask. But with each passing year, tensions grew higher and higher. The Cold War couldn't last forever.
I find it interesting they called it the Cold War.
In 3643 BBY, just 10 years after the end of the Great Galactic War, the Republic and Sith Empire were at war once more.
Of course,
the Galactic
it's inevitable.
War was upon the galaxy. In the early stages of the Galactic War, which was in essence a continuation of the Great Galactic War, the Republic and Sith Empire started by reigniting disputes that had gone unresolved during the previous war. One surprising turn of event during the war was the recovery of a long-lost Republic hero. The Republic, guided by a pure but unfamiliar spirit, was led to the Imperial fortress world of Taral V. There, a Republic strike force gathered key intelligence about a Sith prison known as the Foundry. Another strike team, supported by Fleet Admiral and Jedi Master Oteg, traveled into the Maelstrom to storm the prison, where they were stunned to find none other than Revan himself, imprisoned in stasis for 300 years.
300 years.
Mitra Surik, as it turned out, had guided them to him, wishing to see her old friend finally free. The Republic strike team freed him, but Revan soon vanished once more and didn't involve himself in the ongoing war. Meanwhile, other Republic and Jedi forces also sought to take out the Sith Emperor. One attempt in particular banked on the hero of Tython, a young Jedi. This, Lord Scourge had realized, was the real person he had seen in his vision all those centuries ago. With Scourge's help, the hero of Tython managed to finally kill Vitiate. It turned out that Vitiate's long-term plan, the plan that Scourge had been so hell-bent on subverting, was to increase his own power by devouring all life in the galaxy. That was how Vitiate had survived this long to begin with. He fed off planets by sucking them dry over the Force and using the energy to prolong his life.
Sounds like Darth Nihilus.
With the fake Nihilus slain, however, the Republic
there you go.
could finally breathe a sigh of relief. In other parts of the galaxy, the two factions continued to clash. On Belsavis, Imperial strike teams managed to liberate the Dreadmasters who had been thought dead during the last war. Republic and Sith forces fought in the Black Hole on Corellia, in Sector 10, and other planets, but it was Corellia that was the epicenter of the war. The Battle of Corellia, as it was later known as, was a huge offensive launched by both factions. The Sith laid claim to the core world first, and with 3 members of the Dark Council planetside coordinating the ground assault, they seemed to overrun the planet's defenses. However, the Green Jedi Enclave of Corellia held them off long enough to buy the Republic and Jedi enough time to swoop in and repel the invading forces. Despite the immeasurable damage caused to the planet, the Republic were victorious. The loss of the Sith Emperor had boosted Republic morale, but it had an odd effect on the Sith. Namely, with the Emperor gone, many opposing factions in the Dark Council and the Empire began to infight. The Sith had always been their own worst enemies, and with the Emperor gone, some sought to take his throne and shape the Empire into their own vision.
Yep.
One such person was Darth Malgus. The hero of the Great Galactic War was a brilliant tactician, a diplomat, and a gifted politician. While Republic and Sith forces fought over the adage and crystal resources on Ilum, Magnus revealed that he had turned traitor and sought to become the new emperor. He envisioned an empire free of petty squabbles and xenophobia, an empire that recognized the potential in all species instead of shunning them due to humans' elitism and classism. Malgus sought to remake the Sith in a way that they would cease destroying themselves. In the end, however, he was defeated and blown into space. Yeah, we know. We were rooting for him too. The Dreadmasters were another problem. The Emperor had been the only being they considered above
the end
themselves.
of Darth Malgus.
With him gone, the 6 Lords of Dread sought to spread their terror throughout the galaxy, subjugating and enslaving all life. Initially, they aimed to rule the madness, but when one of their own was slain, they sought to destroy everything, including themselves. The Dread War, as it was called, was one of the first occasions the Republic and Sith forces would somewhat unite against a common enemy. Although they didn't outright work together, they at least accepted each other's presence while they both dealt with the insane Sith. Mercifully, the Dreadmasters were slain, and the Republic and Sith could get back to business as usual. The two factions fought over Isotope 5 on Macheb, over Zerka, and generally had a good go at one another until the incident, or rather incidents, as it turned out. Something was amiss. Simultaneously, almost, Republic and Imperial forces attacked and heavily destroyed Korriban and Tython respectively. both the Jedi Temple and Sith Academy were heavily damaged, and instructors on both sides were killed. This might have seemed like a coincidence, but it turned out that there were traitors on both sides. The Revanite Order. Over the last few years, a secret order had begun forming in the galaxy. An order that followed neither faction but Revan himself. They were devoted to finding the Sith Emperor and killing him before he could destroy the galaxy. The Revanites believed that the only way to fully draw the Emperor out was to destabilize the Republic and the Sith Empire so that they could resurrect him and put an end to his evil spirit once and for all. The conspiracy was discovered by one Theron Shen, SIS agent, and Lana Beniko, Sith intelligence agent, who teamed up to take out their mutual enemies.
I know Theron Shen is like the help of son
one
of
prominent figure,
Shen.
They set out to uncover the truth for the rest of the galaxy. The small team set out for Manan and Rakata Prime to foil the Revanites' plans.
Looks like that's
On
old
Rishi,
Republic.
they were able to expose the Revanites' manipulations of the Republic and Imperial fleets, who were moments away from destroying one another above the planet. When they were able to contact the two leaders, Satil Shan, the Grandmaster of the Jedi Order, and Darth Maul, de facto leader of the Dark Council, the two leaders agreed to rendezvous on Yavin 4, where Revan was about to resurrect the Emperor everyone had worked so hard to kill. For the first time ever in galactic history, the Republic and Sith Empire worked together. On Yavin 4, the two factions set up a common base camp where Imperials, Sith, Jedi, and Republic troopers intermingled uneasily. Revan was the common enemy, and although neither side was happy about it, for now, they were allies. Despite the prominent darkness on Yavin 4, both Satil Shan and Darth Maul could sense a strong light side presence in the Force. That turned out to be Revan. Sort of. You see, when he had been liberated from the Foundry, Revan's psyche had fractured from the horrific ordeal he had been through. His dark half had set out to hunt down the Emperor, while his light half wanted to simply rest. Thanks to their combined strength, they were able to break through the Massassi Revan was relying on and the Emperor's Imperial Guard into the temple that Revan had set up a base in.
That's a big
The temple
Massassi.
contained a mass ritual sacrifice
it's even
machine
got those Wolverine
which Revan
claws.
had planned to use, sacrificing all life on Yavin 4 to resurrect the Emperor, then kill him.
It's always Yavin 4.
Thankfully, the Joint Strike Force was able to first destroy the machine, then bring down Revan. With his hatred quenched, Revan's soul was finally able to become whole once again. More importantly, he was able to make peace with his life and the universe, and with a thank you, he finally let go and became one with the Force. Allegedly. With the Revanite crisis averted, both the Republic and Sith quietly left the moon of Yavin. Their common enemy had been defeated. Even if we had hoped this experience could have taught them the virtue of cooperation, the wheels of politics continued to turn, and their heart was set on war. It wasn't long before the galactic war resumed, with both sides a little more mellow, but equally out for blood. Of course, this new outbreak of war would only last very little before both factions were suddenly ambushed by an unknown enemy. Led by a frightfully familiar face, they came out of unknown space to utterly humiliate both of them in a war that was more one-sided than a Wookiee arm wrestling a preschooler. But that's a story for another day.
Okay guys, so that was another Sith history reaction video, and basically it went off the galactic timeline videos, and from what I've seen or heard, the Sith did take over and hold Coruscant captive, but not only that, they had the Republic blaming the Jedi, so the Jedi had to relocate. So it looks like at a time, like a moment, it was just the Republic, so the Sith could have just attacked the Republic without like any Jedi interference or support, so maybe that was a good time to attack. Well, then again, that's just my opinion. And on top of that, if it wasn't for the third faction, Revan's faction, that was interfering, and not so much a Sith infighting, once again, because I had a feeling once they said this Emperor was killed, there's gonna be like a power vacuum, and people were and Sith were just gonna fight it to like claim the throne and like take over. So That I saw that coming a bit. But either way, this was a great video, and I'm actually gonna watch the next video in just a bit because I'm really curious. But when he said that there was a third faction that was just like destroying everything, I'm willing to guess that it's the Eternal Empire, because that's the only third faction I can think of. Because I did not know that Revan had his like own little faction and was attacking, and also had like followers. But then again, I guess everyone has their like own factions if people are like crazy enough to follow them. But either way, again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed my reaction to this video, and keep an eye out for more content, and also check out my other videos I have on my channel. And again, thank you guys so much for your guys' support in this channel. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night wherever you guys are, and I'll see you guys next time.